Hello, everybody. Welcome to a brand new series of Rewatch, and this time we are taking on the Teen Titans. How are you, Jared?
Hell yeah, I guess I'm the boom to your Sonic.
Yes. So we are covering the very first episode of Teen Titans: Divide and Conquer. Just for future reference, because this was a mix-up that me and Jared had. We are going off the production order of the show, not the broadcast order. Mm-hmm. So if things seemed a little bit out of order, that's why. So I just wanted to get that clarify off the bat.
And by the way, it's interesting how this is not the first piece of Teen Titans content we're going to be covering this week.
But it will be the first one to go live.
Yeah, we'll be the first one to go live. That is correct.
So this is we are doing on my channel Teen Titans Week. So on Rewatch, we are covering the first episode of Teen Titans, and then we're going to do the rest of the series and Trouble in Tokyo. So this is the replacement for Avatar. I'm sure Jared is very happy.
Yes, exactly. Hopefully the show does not have a sucky third season.
Actually, I think the third season is actually like one of the better ones of this.
Good. That'll be refreshing.
Already, you're more animated because I gotta say, brother, I gotta call you out a little bit. In season 3, you were kind of checked out to a degree.
Because season 3 sucked, in my opinion. I was like, another one.
I'm just saying. saying.
No.
But already, you're more animated, so we're already doing really good. So yeah, what are kind of like your initial thoughts, like your initial kind of like overview of this episode?
For one thing, first off, if this is how the rest of the series is, I'm in for a fun time because I love this. For
the record, really have you seen the show before?
I actually watched like the first 5 episodes like months and months and months ago. So obviously for this is kind of like rewatching for the first time. I'm kind of familiar with it because I used to watch this when it was on Cartoon Network. But all in all, my first impressions, first off, is that everything's great. I love all the characters. I love all the character designs, particularly for like all the villains. Plus, I love seeing my boy Slade Wilson get some representation.
I mean, it's Slade.
Slade, yeah. For those of you that don't know, the reason why he's called Slade in this and not Deathstroke is because in a children's cartoon, they didn't want to use the word death in the title.
Yes. Also,
even though in the Super Friends, they used Dark Side.
Speaking of Super Friends, Justice League Rewatch, what we're doing later.
Mm-hmm.
but anyway. So, also, can we just talk about that theme song? It's such a banger.
It's catchy. It's definitely catchy.
When there's trouble, you know who.
It's kind of like Ghostbusters.
I mean, who are you gonna call?
Teen Titans.
But yeah, so this definitely feels like a first episode. Like they do like the whole lineup, kind of little vignettes, and it's like the show does a very good job of introducing you to the characters, the world, and kind of a little bit of the plot line. Mm-hmm. The thing I like is these shows are very episodic, but they kind of have a bit of a through line to a degree.
Mm-hmm. To a degree, and to a certain degree, the episodic nature kind of works for comic book shows because comic books, for the most part, are episodic. There are sometimes when like a writer will tell like a massive run that tells some story, but you know what I'm saying there.
Yeah, it's not like they're Justice League Unlimited here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So basically, it starts. You have like Cinderblock, and they're trying to do it. And like the big conflict is this is mostly a Cyborg and Robin episode.
Which I love the dynamic between those two. That was so good. Oh man.
Yeah, and can I just say this Beast Boy is a much refreshing change of pace from the Marv Wolfman George Perez version.
Yeah, he's less creepy.
But like speaking of that, you can very much tell that they were heavily inspired by that version of the comic for this cartoon.
Yeah, pretty much in terms of like the jokey, jovial nature of the character. But again, they really toned back on the sexual creepiness of the previous of the Marv Wolfman.
What sucks is I can't use my bat. I had my bat all ready for bonking, but I couldn't use it for the comic. I was bonking all the wrong.
Yeah, well, let me put it to you this way: at least in the comic, there were no Bruce Timm. That's my
Yes,
weekly Bruce Timm bashing.
that's what's interesting is this came out during like the height of like Justice League. This is kind of like the anti-DCAU to a degree.
No wonder I like it so much.
Oh,
So you're telling me in this universe, Batman does not sleep with Batgirl? Good.
I don't think Batgirl even exists in this universe. They never mention her. So yeah. So basically, it's like they're having trouble working together, and basically, Cyborg kind of leaves the team for half the episode, and this is kind of the one point of contention that I will have for this is Cyborg just kind of comes back in,
Yeah,
like, randomly. Like, oh, by the way, off screen, I took care of Cinderblock for you. Like,
yeah, I would have liked to see that at least, but yeah, that's my one point as well, is that he goes away and we never see him until the end of the episode. If they showed him doing stuff, that would be one thing, but they didn't.
also, like, if you look closely, you can tell where they kind of like the animation's great, but you can tell where they cut corners. Like, you notice how every attack is like a cutaway. It's like they got the speed lines on like a plain background, which it kind of works as a style, but you can really tell, like, okay, we got to cut corners somewhere.
Exactly. I agree.
For some reason, Raven's attacks are on screen. For some reason, they're like the most intense ones, and yet somehow they're the ones that are on screen. It's really weird.
Probably because it's really easy to draw like black attacks going out.
Yeah, but overall, like the animation is of very high quality. What did you think? Like this is obviously very anime inspired.
Yeah.
Like, what's funny is this show was doing the whole anime inspired Western cartoon about 5 years before everyone else is doing it.
Yeah, I was about to say you definitely get a lot of anime like inspiration, like what the action scenes, like we referenced previously, how like everyone's winding up for an attack, and then you see like the speed lines and then a blank background, and I was like, this is cool. It's kind of applying like that to a comic book show, and I really appreciated it. I think it blends very well with the show. Plus, you also have like the little chibi moments for the
spiky hair, like Robin's hair.
Yeah, the impossibly spiky hair. It's like
also, I love one of my favorite lines is, "I can smell the cheap hair gel." Like,
yeah, that was so good. I love that.
Like that line explains the spikiness. Like, it's just,
yeah.
So overall, like, what rating would you give this episode?
8 out of 10, purely because of the really random Cyborg leaving and coming back and doing a lot of stuff off screen. That's my problem. If you do cool stuff off screen, then I get a little peeved.
Yeah, I'd give it like an 8.5 or so, just because of like the Cyborg stuff. But I do love this, and Jared, I gotta, like, you gotta say, are you excited for season 1?
Yes, I am, very much so.
So you have the wiki pulled up. What trivia do you have for us?
Okay. Most of the actions in the theme song, i.e. Raven showing up on the other side of the wall, Beast Boy looking somewhere and then turning into a pterodactyl, appear in this episode. In this episode, Cyborg says that Robin is 4 feet tall, but he's actually more likely around 5 feet. In this episode, Beast Boy's voice is deeper. Beast Boy is the first character to speak in production order. At a few points in the episode, namely her first appearance where she telekinetically throws barrels at Plasmus, Plasmus, and she is flying away from Plasmus, Raven has tassels attached to her belt. This is interesting as she only has them on her early design concept art, and they're completely absent in her final design and promo art. And
anything else you got for us?
This episode is used again in Teen Titans Go, but in different transcript from the final episode of season 3, The Cape. So apparently this shows up in season 3. All right. The appearance of the human form of Plasmus is based on David Slack.
I have no idea.
I have no idea. Exactly. I have no idea who that is.
We're doing our best Lex Luthor impression.
Yeah, but for the title real quick. There's a little piece of trivia for that. The title refers to Cyborg leaving the Teen Titans and later and their later near defeat, specifically when Robin is about to fall into the vat of implied acid. However, with Cyborg's return, Slade is no longer able to easily defeat the Titans, and they are victorious in the end.
Oh, it finally acid.
Yeah, exactly. You could say they almost had a Killing Joke.
And on that note, thank you everyone for this inaugural episode. A little bit shorter than usual, but obviously we're a lot more animated than usual. And as always, also I gotta get this point show. I'm sorry, this episode gets a 9.5. It's 9.0. I'm bumping it up a half a point for Nightfire.
Nightfire sucks.
Jared will not be in episode 2. Anyway, this has been Nick from the Phoenix Press, and this is Jared's last episode. Have a good one, everyone. Remember, I can list you at the door. You're the one that's walked through it. Nightfire rule!